So as I was going through this, when they called me up, I was looking and I was saying, okay, why would people want to do this heat pumps in their home? Like I said, I've been doing heat pumps now for the past 20 years with Mitsubishi Electric. We adopted this technology when it first came into the United States back about 20 years ago. When I first saw it, I was like, I think this is going to really catch on in the United States. And it's been a long ride the past 20 years. Probably installed in homes now. I think we had a count of homes we did about 6 months ago. I think it was up to about 9,000 homes we've done with air source heat pumps in the Boston area. So it's been a long, long journey. I mean, when we first did this, we installed $20,000 worth of product. Last year it was well into the, I think, $7 to $8 million worth of installations done. So it's been great for our business. But why should you consider, putting, why should you consider heat pump technology for your home? Just move that slide. I want to just play this little video here. Can we click that?
Oh, no.
There's a video on
Guess what? We can't do that.
that. Oh, we can't do that. Okay, because there was a video that I had put in there, and it was about I guess
Talk about it.
if everything ran on gas. Think if everything ran on gas. If everything ran on gas today. I mean, look at Tesla. Look what Tesla's doing. The electric cars, Nissan, electric cars. You look at just everything now, and just how everything is changing. The grid is getting cleaner. Why are we doing this? It's because of the carbon neutral footprint. Everyone, we were involved in a program in Somerville over the past year and a half, and they have I think it's 2050 they want to be carbon neutral footprint in that city. So I mean, it's pretty much moving on. It won't.
Oh, but we'll see if it works. You told me that it will, but
No, okay, so they didn't get it to work. Okay, well, let's move to the next slide.
Okay.
Let's look at some technology improvements of where we're going. Let's move that over to the next slide. When we look at the light bulb, let's take a look. We were 60 watts. Then we went to the different bulbs. We went to the incandescent bulbs at 14 watts. Now we're down to LED bulbs at 8 watts. Why are we doing this? We look at these cars today, and everything is becoming electric now. Why are we doing this? So when we look at gas and we look at how people are using oil, gas, propane, and things like this to operate their homes, it's just not the cleanest way to do it. So when we look at the grid, this grid is getting a lot cleaner now. We're going to wind source, solar, things like this that are being able to create parts of this. So we're building up our own power. And why are we doing this? When this grid is getting cleaner, we move to the next one. We look at this. Heat pumps are definitely part of this solution. When we look at putting these into homes now, okay, we're getting rid of natural gas. We've done many homes where the heat pump is the full source of heat. People are like, oh, heat pumps don't heat in the cold weather. Well, the technology has changed completely. This is not your heat pump from the 1980s, the 1990s, and or the 2000s. Okay, these are heat pumps now that are completely changed that I can get into a little bit later. But I mean, these heat pumps do heat at 100% heat source down to minus 13 degrees with no backup electric heat. So you don't have to have that toaster oven in your ductwork anymore. The days of those heat pumps are gone right now. The U.S., when we look at the U.S. now, the U.S. is really behind where the other parts of the country are. If you've traveled around the world, and you've been to Asia, or you've been to Japan, or you've been to Korea, or down into South America, this is how people heat their homes. This is how they do it. They don't do it with oil, they don't do it with gas, they do it with air source heat pumps. So you can just see how far the United States is behind the rest of the world. And it's just that this technology hasn't really taken off in the United States. It's starting to take off now, but it's got a ways to go still. A lot of consumer awareness, So when we look at, electrical use in homes today, I mean, look at 50% of people's electric use is done with HVAC. In the summertime, I mean, when you're cooling your home with an air conditioning system, a lot of that power, 11% with your water heat, 10% with your lighting, 8% with your appliances, So when you look at that, the bulk of the electricity is being used through air conditioning. So let's move move to the next one. So, when we look at a Boston heating season, we pulled up this slide and we looked at it and said, okay, when we look at the heating hours, when we look at the amount of hours, and we look into that, look at that 20-degree to 59-degree point, even to 49 degrees, the highest amount of heating hours in this right here, this was taken from 1767, when you look at that temperature. So we have cold days, but we don't have a lot of hours in those cold days. So this is where the air source heat pump is really, really efficient. In that 20 to 49 degree range right there, it's really, really efficient. And then even on the air conditioning side, look at, we have some warm days, but not super, super warm days. Look at 90 to 99. It's not as high as we think, so. We have a lot of humidity more than temperature, so.
And it helps with that too?
It does, yeah, because you're removing humidity from the homes at that point.
Right.
Let's go to the next slide.
There we go.
Okay, so when we look at oil, we look at an oil burner, we look at how this system runs. When we look at an air source heat pump, we look at what's called the coefficient of power and how that costs. So when we look at this, we say, okay, 1,000,000 BT, 100,000 BTUs per hour. A typical oil burner uses 100,000 BTUs per hour. This is a cost per million of BTUs when you look at what things cost. So when you look at electric resistance heat, let's look at electric resistance heat. To use the cost of that is $52, that's 20 cents a kilowatt. So for every 1,000,000 BTUs of electric heat that you use, it's about $52 on the cost per BTU. When we look at oil, the cost per BTU is about $27.19. Propane, very expensive, $37. When we start to get into these air source heat pumps, we rate them by coefficient of power per million per BTU. So we're usually around 3.5, 3.9, 3, somewhere in that range. 2 is, we get down into the 2s at very low temperatures, but above 20 degrees, we're in this $17 to $13 range. So we're about 50% more efficient than oil and probably about 40% more efficient than propane. When we look at natural gas, we run in right about where we are with gas, we're about the same. So gas is around 25. So how does the system work? Let me show you a little bit about how it works. You can have multiple units inside. You can have multiple units outside. Depending on what you want to do in your home, you can do the bottom right-hand corner. You can still do a traditional system where you can put ductwork on it and heat and cool your home with ductwork, just like that. Floor mount units are on the bottom. You can put that in one area. Ceiling recess units go up into the ceiling. And then there's the traditional wall mount units are here on your right-hand side above here. And then there's a little small unit up here on the right that you can put ductwork on. A system like this, you can put one outdoor unit and one unit inside the house. This is what we call a single zone system, one unit. This is good for like a hot spot, a cold spot, an addition, or a whole home with the ducted unit. This could replace a traditional heat pump in a home. This can replace an oil furnace in a home. So this is what we would use on the one-on-one system, and this would run on one thermostat. So this right here is the multi-zone port type. This would move to multiple indoor units inside the home. What we would do is come in and zone your home. So when we look at a traditional heating and air conditioning system, it usually has one thermostat. And it usually sits somewhere in the middle of the house, and that's what does the heating. So why would you want to do this? When you look at this is a zone comfort solution. So instead of having one thermostat, you're going to have 5 thermostats. So if typically you're not in a bedroom during the daytime, you can turn the bedroom units off. You can turn the temperature up to heat, to cool. Usually with cooling, people turn them off during the day. When you turn 1 or 2 units off, the outdoor unit senses that it doesn't have, this can run anywhere from 5 to 10 units on it. You could, at that point, that unit isn't running at the full speed. It says, whoa, wait a minute, I don't have all the capacity here. So the compressor speeds up and slows down. Our compressors don't turn on and off. They speed up and slow down with the desired temperature of what you need into the home. And all the compressors are DC volts versus AC volts. So this is a port type box. This is what we can go into a house. So this is where we can do multiple ports. We can do up to 8 to 10 units in a home, depending on what we're doing here. And we could do, like on the left-hand side, we could do one spot with traditional ductwork if we needed to, floor mount units, ceiling recess units for the upstairs, however we were gonna do that. And then we could come over here and put wall mount units. This is a kind of what we call a whole home solution, where we would do multiple temperatures in different rooms. You know, some people just aren't comfortable with certain temperatures in certain rooms either. Some people like it hotter, some people like it colder, some people like it turned off.
Did you do a business with this?
We could do a business with this, yes, we've done businesses with this. This works really good in a small office building type thing where you have a hallway and you have multiple small offices off of a hallway, and there's one thermostat out in the hallway, and you got people that are hot, people that are cold. It just, no one can ever get the right temperature of what they want to do. So we can go in and put in four small units into 4 small offices, 8 small offices, however you would want to do that. So it can be run from a device we call Kumu Cloud, which does tie into your smartphone. So that little white box in the middle would get installed into the indoor unit. That goes to what we call the Kumu Cloud server, and then it becomes an app on your phone that you can run everything on your app on your phone at that point, so you can see, you know, if you want to program it on your phone, turn it up on your phone, turn it down on your phone. You can do whatever you need to do. You can do your schedule on there. You can do whatever you need to do with that. So if you're out on the road somewhere and you want to turn something up or down, you're on vacation coming home, you can use the app to do that. So, you know, this is what I mean by your home right here. I mean, this could be your home. If you look at this, I mean, this is how we do many homes. We go in and we zone them. Like you can see that, you know, the pink room there is in the off position. The one up on the left is on 76. That's probably in setback mode right now. Room on the right at 68. Your room down here is off. The condenser on the bottom right-hand side, outside of the house here. So multiple different temperatures throughout the home. You know, you also have a dry mode in this too as well. So if you just wanted to take one of those rooms and run it in the dry mode, what it does is it just dehumidifies the room. So you really can't set a temperature on it, but it gets a nice dry room at that point. So it kind of comes on and off every few minutes and just removes the humidity from the room. You know, when would you use that? And, you know, a rainy, humid day or something like that, you could use that to do that in your home. So.
We did that last summer. It made such a difference in our house.
With the dry mode?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Did we put one in your house, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, we put one in your house. I thought we
I
did
put
your
it,
house.
I have a dual system.
You have a dual system in your home, okay. Yeah, I mean, that basically zones out the home and allows you to do, you know, you can turn one unit off, one unit on. It's, you know, when we think of how we do homes, traditional home, there'd be one thermostat in the middle of there with ductwork. A lot of people, they have a 2-story home and they have one unit in the basement or one unit in the attic, and it's trying to push air down through ductwork, and the thermostat's upstairs, and it just never makes for a comfortable environment. It's always, you can never get the temperature right on a system like that, ever. It's just never gonna work properly. So some case studies, some things that we've done. I mean, here's a Newburyport case. You know, this was a little home we did out. I think this might have been out on Plum Island. Yeah, this was a 5-zone system that we did with five zones in this house. There was a $500 Mass Save rebate on this. The 0% interest loans up to 7 years are through Mass Save. Those are still going on now. So, you know, there is good incentives for this, for the 0% up to the 7 years on this, you know. And we're seeing annual savings of around $2,500 in this home right here, you know, on the heating side. Heating and air conditioning side total. So there are some savings to this when you go ahead and do this.
Yeah, and Eastern Bank right here in Newburyport is doing it, and
Yep.
Newburyport 5-cent savings could be starting here as well.
We actually just got accepted to a program today that we're going to be announcing probably in the next couple of days now, where we're going to actually be able to go out into your home. We'll be able to provide you with the paperwork to get the Mass Save loan, so you don't need to go get the energy assessment and all that stuff
that's
anymore.
great.
We can offer the loan to you, and the rebates, you don't have to wait for the rebates. We would give the rebates to you right then and there.
Wow.
Just for curiosity, what's the square footage of the house and what was the total system cost?
That square footage in that house, I think, was around 2,100 maybe, somewhere in that area. And don't hold me to it, but that 5-zone system's probably somewhere in the $15,000 to $18,000 range to do something like that. Somewhere in that area. This was a home we did in North Andover. It's a two-zone ducted system that we did, that we actually put ductwork into the basement, and we put ductwork into some small eaves in those attics in there, and did this one here. This was oil heat. This was a big impact because this was 3 tons or 4 tons of 2 systems. It was 4 tons that went in here. And this guy wanted to actually get rid of his oil. Like he did not want oil in the house. He removed his oil burners, took everything out. So we had to go a little bit bigger with the system to get, it was about an 80,000 BTU boiler, so we had to put about 65,000 BTUs of heat in there with the 2 systems that we did. And we ducted all of that and put that in there. And I mean, this had some pretty substantial savings. This was about a $4,000 savings a year. This though, this with all the custom ductwork that needed to be done here, this job was around $30,000 to do. And again, this was a 0% loan, 7 years that went in, so those are all put together now, so, okay. We are having an air source heat pump educational seminar. We do have a new facility that we've just finished building out in our training center, where we have all of this equipment there. It's all live, it all works, it all runs. We have it integrated with oil heat, electric heat. So what do I mean by integrated? The controls now with the oil heat and the electric heat or the propane, we actually have what's called a Kumu Cloud station that ties into your existing system that does the changeovers on the outdoor temperature. So below a certain temperature, your one system will run. Above a certain temperature, your other system will run. Some of those rebates are very, very substantial that are going on right now. If you have oil heat, propane heat, electric heat, things like that, if you're really considering an air source heat pump for your home, there are rebates anywhere from $3,000 up to $7,000 that are going on. We have to put the integrated controls in there, but if you think that this is something that you want to do, we're going to offer a 10% discount up to $1,500 off of those systems for people that do come to the educational seminar. It's going to be a 1-hour seminar. It's going to be a very in-depth PowerPoint of how things work, how they integrate, what they do, and then you'll be able to hear systems, see how loud they are, all the different types of controls, all the different types of indoor units we have. We have 18 seats available for that for fire and safety purposes. We have 1 stairway, so we can only bring in 18 people to do that. We're going to have a continental breakfast on those 2 things. So if anyone is interested, we have a booth in the exhibit hall. You can come and sign up. We have everything there to do that. So,
That was my next question. You answered it.
questions? Website's here, if anything, if you want to look at it. Or
But you're in the gym. right
yeah,
now?
we're in the gym. Yeah, yeah. We actually have we have 1 indoor unit in there. We couldn't bring a lot of things with us. It was just too quick. We didn't have enough time to set up. We were going to try and get working
Yeah, I
units
know.
and running units and do things, but it just wasn't enough time. So, shoot.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Under the Solarize Plus program, how many systems did you do in Newburyport?
Newburyport, I think we did about, what, 12
Yeah.
to 13 systems?
Yeah.
About 12 or 13 systems we did in Newburyport. We did some out of Newburyport that were kind of not in the program, but
Yeah,
they
we got
were
a lot from West Newbury. and
West Newbury and
Don't worry,
Newbury.
that just heard about it
Yeah.
as
Great.
well.
I mean, I've got thousands of systems installed all over the place. I mean, and we've seen, substantial savings with everyone. But if anyone has oil heat or propane here, you've got to look at these 0% loans and these, get off the grid as much as you can. So, thank you, guys.
Well, and for us, I was just gonna say, and another thing is, it could be AC in the summer. We have casement windows, we couldn't put in AC, we had, baseboard heating, so it was the perfect solution for us to have AC and the dehumidification in the summer, and then, some nice heating in the winter.
Yeah, if you're plugging in 5 or 6 window units in your home and, using 5 or 6 20-amp circuits, I mean, I can do this with the 40-amp circuit. Do your whole home, and it'll never be running on 40 amps. It'll be probably running somewhere around 18 to 20. So, I mean, we've seen 50% savings on air conditioning right out of the gate. I see it every day. We hear that from people of how they do that. So.
Great, well,
All right,
thank you so
good.
much.
All right,
Thank you.
good. Well,
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Very good.